KAKE Television, KAKE TV, Channel 10, Wichita.
It is a beautiful day in KAKE Land. It is nice out there.
I'm hostess on a show called Open House.
Where are your earrings today, Miss Page?
Well, I took them off.
Why'd you do that?
Well, I had one of one pair and one of another.
The hour for nightmare is once again at hand.
With a vest and a little turned-up cap and a bow tie, we could make you look like Elmer Fudd.
Oh, Miss Barbara, I bought my special Forest Ranger telescope. This is the one I used to see old Bugs Bunny.
From Freddie Fudd to Captain Bill to the old cobbler and the host and Rodney, KAKE employed some of the most talented people in the country. And as we look back to those early years, it was John Froome who may have been one of the greatest local talents of his time.
Bill has picked out two very nice ladies.
John, first and foremost, was an accomplished writer.
Well, we hope you liked it. That's our show.
TV director Carl Chance worked with Froome.
Basically, he was a creative thinker and obviously talent.
John did weather on KAKE for years, and he didn't have a meteorological degree. Greg Gamer was his co-worker.
John was such a professional that he kind of made it fun.
Froome also created the beloved Old Cobbler, a children's show that every kid in Central Kansas knew and loved.
You know, every Tuesday night at 5 o'clock, we come along with that little rascal Dennis the Leprechaun.
Girls, and I think we can do it real quick. We have just a couple of
And
minutes.
then there was Party Line, a show that ran over the noon hour and had 50 women every day as an audience. If you were home at noon, you watched John Froome's Party Line. But John was surrounded by more incredible talent. Bill McLean on radio and TV was John's sidekick on Party Line.
You could be better than you are.
And we didn't have a history to look back on and say, well, this is the way they used to do it, because they didn't used to do it.
Bill also created a children's show, Captain Bill and Pete the Pelican. Later, along came Captain Bill and Popeye. Now, Popeye was Clarence Brown, and he so looked the part.
Clarence was really a fairly handsome man, but when he took his teeth out, he felt that he wasn't. And then when an attractive mother would show up for her child, then Clarence didn't want to have his teeth out.
Just like that cotton-picking cottontail old cobbler. I can't catch him either.
Another children's show included Henry Harvey as Freddie Fudd, and if you were a kid, you'd love to be in Freddie Fudd's treehouse. Henry loved the children, and the ratings for his shows soared. But Henry had other shows too. More about him later in the week. One of the campiest shows ever produced at KAKE was Nightmare with Tom Leahy and sidekick Rodney.
The persistent monsoon that moans in the night.
Isn't that awful?
No, it's
My wife looks at me and says, "You are strange."
It is called the Frozen Ghost.
It was fun. Wasn't lucrative, but it was fun.
Ronnie, turn that blasted thing down. You hear me?
KAKE was a real pioneer that way. It really was.
Gentlemen, music, please, for our First Lady of KAKE, Ethel Jane King.
And completely different on the feminine side was Ethel Jane King, who became queen of the airwaves with a show designed just for women.
Open House.
Ethel Jane's Open House quickly hit #1, and her cool demeanor never varied.
And I'd like to intercept that pass to introduce to you a real old pro when it comes to covering the sports scene, Mr. Jack Miller. Jack?
Another great talent was the sometimes difficult and always bit of a rascal, Jack Miller. Jack was KAKE's sports director, one of the best sports writers of his time. Jack also had a reputation for enjoying the spirits, even on air.
Occasionally we would get a phone call asking if Jack had been drinking. And invariably that would be the night that he hadn't been.
And if you like to dance, KAKE's Carl Berg hosted the Saturday Dance Party. We'll let him explain.
Yes, sir. Every Saturday afternoon at 2:30, all the teenagers from all over Kansas are our stars right here on the KAKE Dance Party. But mainly the stars are the kids themselves, who have fun where they find it.
And you couldn't have a Kansas TV station without a cowboy. Dusty Herring was KAKE's answer. Deputy Dusty had his own kids show and even a band. But over time, the microphone has gone silent for many of the early cake pioneers. Dusty, Ethel Jane, Henry Harvey, John Froome, Jack Miller, and Clarence Brown have all passed on. But these early television pioneers left us so much more. They gave us childhood memories. Memories that today are still in black and white, but are oh so colorful.
In just a minute, it's the news at